Welcome to the Raw Reset. If you're new here, I'm Amber, and I'm currently on a 100-pound weight loss journey utilizing the raw vegan lifestyle. If you clicked on this video, you may be curious about how to start a juice fast, or maybe you've tried one before and found it difficult, or maybe you struggled with food cravings, maybe you felt terrible, or simply couldn't go as long as you hoped you could. But whatever brought you here, my goal is for this video to give you the information you need to feel confident, more prepared, and a whole lot less fearful if you're considering starting one yourself. Now, before I started this 30-day juice cleanse, I wasn't walking into it completely clueless because I had actually completed a 13-day juice fast in 2025 on my millionth attempt to get healthy. So going into this one, I thought I had a pretty good idea of what I was getting myself into. But I quickly realized that my first experience and this experience felt almost like two completely different worlds. The first time around, I was not prepared at all. I basically jumped into it from a junk food vegan diet and not really understanding what I was doing. And honestly, I felt terrible through the whole thing. But I learned pretty quickly that making the decision to do a juice fast and actually preparing yourself physically and mentally for one are two very different things. I made mistakes and I learned a lot from the last one, and I carried those lessons with me into this experience. So this time I approached things differently. And after sharing pieces of my journey with you guys, I started getting some questions from my YouTube and Instagram communities. So I put up some posts asking you guys to ask me whatever you wanted about my experience. And so that's why I'm making this video, so I can answer each and every question instead of just sitting here saying, hey everyone, I completed a 30-day juice fast. Yay. I wanted to answer all the questions that people have before they start, so that you don't feel so nervous or uncertain. So today I'm going to answer everything honestly, and I'm going to talk about all the things that I went through, including some difficult moments and unexpected moments and things that helped me the most. So if you've been sitting on the fence wondering whether you could actually do something like this, I want you to leave this video feeling informed, comfortable, and encouraged, because I know exactly what it feels like to be on the other side, wondering if you're capable of doing this thing and know what that feels like. So without further ado, we'll get into your questions, and you guys ask some really good ones. Okay, the first question: why did you start the juice fast? And did you set out to go 30 days? So I started this juice fast because I needed clarity. That was the only reason I started this juice fast. I needed clarity from God. I was very confused about the direction of where my life was going. I haven't worked in 2 years, and I have this YouTube channel, obviously, and I have my Instagram following, which is very small. And so I wasn't really sure if this is where God was wanting me to be. And so I had some devastating news come in. And so that felt like confirmation that I wasn't really on the right path doing this. So I felt very confused because I feel in my heart a real passion for doing this and creating content and creating recipes and helping others get healthy like I'm in the process of doing. So that's why I started, simply for clarity. So I know that I hear God's voice much better when I'm clear-headed and I don't have distractions in the way, like digestion. And so, did you set out to go 30 days? No, I sure didn't. I was going to go as long as it took to receive the clarity that I needed. And I didn't know how long that was going to take. So I just kept going, kept going. And then about 20 some days in, I received the clarity that I needed. And so then I was like, well, I might as well just do 30 days because I'm already at 20 something days. So we'll just go 30 days. And I didn't feel like a few more days was going to kill me. So I just kept going. All right. The next question is, what did you do to quiet the food noise? Well, I haven't had any food noise because I've been on a raw food lifestyle for 5 months. So when you're eating healthy, especially raw living foods, my food noise left about 21 days in from being raw. I didn't crave cooked food anymore. I didn't crave junk food. I didn't crave anything but raw foods because that was enough time for me to reset my digestion, reset my microbiome, my bacteria in there, and you're going to crave what you've been eating. So if you keep eating junk, you're going to keep craving junk. So I didn't have any food noise, and on day one, I felt no hunger. After day one, there was nothing. I felt a couple growls, or I heard a couple growls in my tummy, and that was it. I mean, I didn't even have the psychological hunger. I did have one craving 20 some days in when my niece was eating a California roll in front of me. And so it was like, oh, that avocado and those vegetables inside the little rice roll looked delicious to me. So I wasn't even craving the California roll itself. It was just, it looked good, but it wasn't overwhelming to me. And I'm very thankful for that because food noise, I would be thinking about food every 5 minutes. So my food noise was constant. It was absolutely constant. All right, the next question. Did your sugar go up drinking fruit juices? I did not monitor my sugar levels. The last blood work I had, my sugar levels, my glucose, fasting glucose, was the lowest that it's ever been since I've been getting blood work done. So I don't know. I started getting blood work done, in my 20s maybe? So yeah, since my 20s, 20 some years. So I wasn't concerned about my blood sugar. I don't think fruit. In fact, I think fruit has an opposite effect. I think that our medical industry tells us that fruit is going to spike our blood sugars. So that's not my belief system. I believe that God gave us the fruits and our bodies process fruit differently. They're hydrating, they are nutritious, they're full of enzymes and minerals and things that we need. They're not like going and eating sugar, regular sugar, anything with that's sweetened and processed. So our bodies don't naturally process that. Our bodies are designed to naturally process fruits. Okay. The next question. Did you experience detox symptoms? And if you did, what did you do to be able to get through it? Yes, I did. And I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need to be afraid of detox symptoms. It's a fear that so many people have. I know I had fear and I've struggled with health anxiety for a very long time. So I understand why you would be fearful of detox. I really was too. But I'm telling you right now, you don't need to be afraid of detox. Our bodies are holding on to so much crap, junk. Years and years and years of not only environmental toxins, chemicals, things in our water, things in our food, but also emotional stresses, traumas, all of these things that we've been through. Our bodies are holding on to those things if we haven't been able to process them in a natural way, in a healthy way. So my detox was less physical because I think I've done a lot of detox through my raw eating, physical detox. So this juice fast, juice feast, juice cleanse, whatever you'd like to call it, was almost all emotional detox. I've experienced so much trauma in my life, and I've been through a lot. And I'm going to tell you that I never processed any of that. None of it. I coped by numbing myself my entire life. And as a child, my coping mechanism, what I naturally did was just block things out. So I can't really remember from age like 5 to like age 9 or 10. And then from like that age to like 13, it's like blocked out. And those are times that there was a significant amount of trauma in my life. So all of those things didn't just disappear because I blocked those things out. They've been there, stored in my cells, in my organs, in my tissues. Our emotions make us feel things for a reason, and that feeling comes from our bodies. I experienced some serious detox from old emotions. Like, I started feeling very scared, and I didn't understand why. I just sat with it because I didn't know what it was and where it was coming from. I was just in my house, and I feel very safe in my house. So it was really strange. And so I just sat with it. So this thought comes up, and it's a memory of my childhood. And the memory is very traumatic. And it was like, okay, there's the memory. Here's the associated thought, feeling with that memory. Now I can put it together, the pieces in my head, why I'm going through this right now. And all I could think is, please, God, help me. Like, get this out. But it wasn't, it was scary at that time. But looking back, I was just sitting in my house. So I mean, I wasn't in a situation where I was in danger. So I just sat with it, and it literally just went, and I can't even describe the amazing feeling I felt. It was like euphoria. It was like, oh my gosh, that just left me. That trauma just left me. It was a knowing that trauma was now gone. Oh, I was so thankful. I was so thankful. So I'm telling you this not to make you scared, because I wasn't in danger. I was in danger when I was in that memory, but all it was a remembrance. And I also knew at the same time it was old. This wasn't something that was new or something I was fearing that was coming at me like right now. I had a knowing that it was old. That was also very strange, very weird. So yes, detox, emotional detox for sure. And that was just one instance. The other instances were a series of emotions coming up, usually bad ones, because I had lived my whole life in fight or flight. So, I'm going to have these things. And that's not to say you're going to have these things, but I know I haven't processed my emotions at all. I've done EMDR, I've done talk therapy, I've done cognitive therapy, I've done art therapy, I've done music therapy, and I've prayed to God for him to get this trauma from my body, because I know that my health was a direct result of the things I've been holding on to. So my prayers have been answered as far as letting some of that go. Thank the Lord. So what did I do to get through it? I had to sit with it. I had to sit with it and just let it go. I didn't do anything. Like, it wasn't me. It just flowed like it's supposed to. That's what it's supposed to do. But when we're in the midst of these traumas, we get caught up in the moment, and then our bodies do anything. Our brain is designed to keep us safe. So anything that it can do to keep us safe. And as a child, I just blocked it out. Okay, and that person also asked a follow-up question. What fruit and veggies did you use? What were your favorite juices? Okay, so my fruits and veggies that I used. So I did a lot of lemon ginger blasts. If you've never heard of that, all you have to do is search lemon ginger blast on YouTube and it will pull up lots of videos for you. It's a signature drink by Lou Corona, and to me it's absolutely delicious and it makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel so good. So I love drinking that, and that's what I made. I tried to drink one every single day, and then some days I drank 3 or 4 of them. So that was what I had. So a lemon ginger blast has a lot of ingredients, a lot. It has celery and cucumber and lemons and apples and ginger and turmeric and spinach, and sometimes they put fennel in it, and Italian parsley and cilantro and habanero. Now, I didn't put any habanero in any of my juices this time, any of my lemon ginger blasts. And then fruits, I did cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, tons of watermelon juice. I did pineapple, orange, and then ginger and turmeric with the pineapple and orange, grapefruit. And that's about what I stuck to. So I did those types of fruits and veggies. And my favorite juice is watermelon, mint, and lime. So good, especially when it's warm outside. It was delicious. And so that was my favorite throughout this whole thing. How to shop and prep the ingredients for the next day on an ongoing basis. This is a good question. So I would shop it for 3 days at a time. And I knew exactly how many celeries I needed, how many apples I needed, how many cucumbers I needed to do the lemon ginger blast. So I bought 3 days worth at a time for those. And then for the rest of the week, I would buy a big fruit. So I would do either a big watermelon for the rest of the week, or I would do cantaloupes and honeydews. So I did 2 cantaloupes and then 2 honeydews and limes and mint. I put those all together. So that's what I would have like for a week at a time. But I usually did 3 days of the lemon ginger blast and then the rest. So I would shop for 3 days of the lemon ginger blast at a time and then the rest of the week. So I shopped for a week at a time. And that really helped me because I knew what I was drinking. And then I batched all my juices. So I washed all my veggies, I chopped all my veggies, and I prepared everything in the morning, batched everything in the morning, and then I had my juices for the day. I did that every day. So I did that every single morning. Now, you may not be able to do that in the morning time. So I would suggest if you are rushing in the morning and you have to get somewhere and you don't have time to do all that, because it does take a lot of time to do all the batching, I would say do it the night before. And that way you're done for the next day. And the juice is good for a couple days. Green juice, I like to drink the green juice pretty fast, fresh, because it starts kind of losing its taste. It doesn't taste as good, and it starts kind of losing its nutrients, I'd say, as time goes on, as it sits. So I would say green juice, you definitely want to drink quicker. But yeah, I batch juiced. It worked perfectly for me. I couldn't imagine juicing, drinking, waiting, juicing, drinking. I wouldn't have been successful that way, because preparation is absolutely key. You have to be prepared. Otherwise, you're just going to go back to eating. Because it's, juicing is work. It takes work. You got to juice the stuff and you got to wash it, clean it, juice it, clean the juicer, put it all. So it does take a lot of work. But it is worth it. It's worth all the work you put in. And so starting weight, after weight, how much juice per day, any water, how much? Okay, so there's a lot of questions from this person. So I'll start with the first part. Starting weight, 250.7. After weight, 237.4. So about 13 pounds, which was nice because I was in the 240s. Then I gained a little bit of weight. I was down 20, gained a couple pounds, and then I was at the 250 mark again, and I'm like, oh, how did I get back to the 250s? And so this juice fast just erased the 240s. I was like, sweet. Now I'm in the 230s. I need to keep the momentum going. And then how much juice per day? So I drank a gallon at least of juice a day. So that is 4 big 32-ounce mason jars. And Amazon sells the lids for the ones. So I just put the lids on. They're the ball jars, mason jars, and 32 ounces, 4 of them at least. If I had watermelon, I would need a lot more than that. So I usually drank 6 to 8 of the watermelon. So watermelon, I don't know. It wasn't as fulfilling to me as the green juice was. Any water? Not really. I drank a lot of coconut water. So I would drink coconut water with my actual fruit juice. I would drink a juice, then wait a little bit, drink a coconut water, drink another juice, wait a little bit, drink a coconut water. So I had the coconut waters in between each juice. And I didn't do fresh coconut water. It's hard for me to find that where I live. So I had to do the regular organic coconut water that's in the jug. I made sure it was just coconut water, organic coconut water. So that's what I drink in between. And it worked out well for hydration. So I didn't need a lot of water. I drank a little bit of water in the evening time. I found I was more thirsty then, but not very much. What type of juices? I went into that already. Any health conditions prior to starting? So I had tons of health conditions starting my journey already in January. That's why I turned to this raw food lifestyle, because I had so many health problems. So most of those health problems have healed. I have still been struggling, I feel, with a sluggish liver. Western medicine doctors, diagnosed me with fatty liver. And I don't claim having that. I don't put those labels on myself anymore. So, they gave me that label. So I feel like my liver was still a little bit sluggish, because I know that I would get like a pain below my rib cage, where my gallbladder is. And your gallbladder, if you have gallbladder issues, you usually have a liver issue. So I've been to the doctor many, many, many times for my gallbladder, and they always say that it's fine and there's no stones and blah, blah, blah. But I've always had gallbladder pain. So that I was starting to have a little bit. Still, definitely not as bad as it was. But so I had one day where I was having that sharp pain in my below my rib cage, and I was like, wow, this feels different. It hurt like normal, but it felt different. And then I just thought, well, that's why it's healing. It's like patching itself up, is how I felt. So then after that, nothing. So it was great. So I feel like I've healed some more of my liver, and I feel like I've healed my gallbladder. So, um, so that's what I'm going to believe, that it's healed. And then that's about all my health conditions at this point. I had fibromyalgia and I've reversed that. I had autoimmune symptoms, the same as like lupus. I didn't have the actual diagnosis of lupus, but I had all of the symptoms of lupus and a positive ANA, which I reversed. It's now negative, and that was the first time in 10 years that it's been negative. So I've reversed quite a few things. Just from going raw. So I didn't have a ton of things going into the juice fast. Did you juice only organic vegetables? No. So celery, I always get organic celery. Greens, I always get organic spinach and organic kale and things like that. So those were already something that I always get organic. Watermelon, I can never find an organic watermelon or organic cantaloupe or organic honeydew. So those are just conventional things. Organic apples, I always get anyways. So those were organic. Organic lemons, I get. So almost everything was organic, but that's what I already normally buy anyways, unless I absolutely can't get it non-organically. And also if the price is like double the price, if it's organic, then I will wash it better, clean it better, that kind of thing. So to hope get all the pesticides off of it, we have to pay extra to not have chemicals sprayed on our food. That's pretty insane. Okay, so this is a good question. How were your bowels before and after? My bowels before were perfect. Now, I have struggled with constipation for years and years and years and years. In 2024, I went on a popular weight loss drug that now 1 in 8 people are on. And I went on that drug because I was so desperate to lose weight. What I didn't realize is that if you have digestive issues already, which I did, I was diagnosed with gastritis. I was diagnosed with diverticulosis, which is the precursor thing to diverticulitis. Leaky gut. I had celiac already. So these are all digestive problems. I already had all of these issues, plus constipation. So then I went on that drug in 2024, and that thing gave me paralysis of my digestive system, of my bowels. So my digestion was completely jacked when I started going raw. And it took a long time, I'd say a couple months, for it to get into a situation where I was actually having regular bowel movements, going multiple times a day like you're supposed to, eliminating properly, and it being enjoyable instead of being so traumatic every time I would go to the bathroom and having to use laxatives and softeners and things like that to eliminate. So my digestion was pretty good going into it. Now I'm going to tell you, when you juice, you're going to have loose bowels because it goes in and it comes out. There's barely any fiber in the juice. So that's one thing I'm going to suggest is if you drink a lot of citrus, it can actually cause burning and almost like a hemorrhoid on your butt because it's so acidic. So I made that mistake. I drank way too much citrus and it was burning. Plus, I had ginger, which is spicy. And so it was not the best experience going to the bathroom for a while. So, what I started doing was incorporating more of the melons. And so that was much more calming on my digestive system. Now, I did eliminate a lot of old waste. And I know it's old because it was like black and like junky looking and like cakey looking and like in chunks almost. So not like a normal poo. It was like chunky and dark, really dark and smelly, really smelly. And that's one thing, if you eat raw living foods, you notice that your bowels don't smell anymore. Um, and I don't know if that's where they get the saying that your poo don't smell, but that is the truth. Your poo stops smelling terrible, and it's actually like barely any smell. And this started smelling really bad. So I knew I was releasing some of that old waste that was like yucky. And so that was really good too. All right, how expensive was it to do this every single day for this long? I don't know exactly what I spent, but I'm sure it was a lot. However, what is your health worth to you? This is like an insurance policy. We pay without even thinking about it all this money, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every year for health insurance, right? And health insurance serves its purpose, obviously, but we pay thousands, I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars for it. I know what I pay for it, and it's outrageous. So, how much are fruits and vegetables? Can you stop drinking coffee at $5 a coffee or $7 a coffee? Or, can you buy just the fruit and vegetables on sale? That's what I would do if you're on a strict budget, is buy the fruits and vegetables on sale. Or the cheapest way to do it is buy a watermelon. This is the perfect time of year going into summer. They're in season, they're huge. You get tons and tons and tons of juice out of them. So that's what I would do if you're on a budget. I don't know exactly how much I spent, but I know I spend a good amount of money also on my raw food diet because I use tons of ingredients, tons of seasonings. I love making things really flavorful and gourmet like. So all of that costs a lot of money, anyways. But this is your health. Can you put a number on your health? I mean, what is your health worth to you? Is what I'm going to say. If you're worried about the money, find a way to do it because it's going to make a difference in your health. Even if you can do a few days, you're going to feel better. How was your sleep? My sleep was perfect. And one thing about my sleep is I had all these dreams. And even starting the first night, I had a dream that I actually remembered. And I barely remember my dreams, like ever. I'd like never remember my dreams. So it was really cool having the dreams and remembering each one. So I started writing them down to kind of just get an idea of what maybe kind of what they meant or if they were connected or something like that. So I had a few dreams and my sleep was killer. It was just perfect. But I do have a really good sleep routine, anyways. I go to bed at the same time every single night. I wake up around the same exact time every day. It doesn't matter if it's the weekend or what. I have a very strict sleep schedule to make sure I get enough sleep. Sleep to me is very, very important. And I love sleep. It's healing and it's good for us to get enough sleep. But the dreams were something that was really, really cool because I really never really remember my dreams. So it was really nice having that experience. And no, I don't know what any of them meant. In one, my mom came to me, and my mom died at 54 years old, and she died about 16 years ago. And so I haven't had a dream about my mom in a very long time. And she came to me in a dream and said she knew exactly how I felt. And that just it felt really reassuring. So, um, so yeah. So the next one, physical things you may have healed. I think I may have healed my gallbladder a little bit more, and I think I may have healed my liver. So those are two things that I feel like I healed. Also, my gums, I had some receding gum lines in my mouth, and those seem to have gone down. So I think those healed a little bit as well. So that's really cool. So the next one, what was your greatest challenge during the fast and how did you overcome it? So I'd say the greatest challenge, um, just physically, was juicing every single day. That does kind of get old because it's takes a long time, and you have to clean the juicer and do all the things and buy all the things for it. And anyways, I'd say that's like the biggest challenge. Um, like the biggest physical challenge I would say is just doing the juicing. But the mental challenge of it was the will to just keep going, and um the emotional detox that I went through. Those were the most challenging, and they were also the most rewarding because now I'm very proud of myself for making it 30 days. This is something that I never thought I would be capable of doing. And also, I'm so happy that my body was able to feel safe enough to let these old traumas go. So that says right there that I was in a very, very good state, a very good, healthy state. So yeah, those were the challenges, but they were also very positive things. Um, did you have any spiritual experiences, and did you pass any mucoid plaque? I didn't have any spiritual experiences except for hearing God clearly and feeling so much more connected to God and so much more grateful. My gratitude is always very high anyways. I'm always so thankful for my life and the blessings in my life. But this just elevated it to the next level. It was just next level gratitude. And I felt so much more connected to nature. And there was actually a moment where normally I'd go on my walk in the morning, and I did walk almost every single day, 10,000 steps at least. I had tons of energy, tons of energy. So that's another thing. But there was one day where I usually have my earbuds in when I'm walking, and I usually listen to a podcast or something like that. And I just felt the need, like, I felt like, don't put those in. Don't put those in today. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just walking along, and I felt so grateful. It was like God just said, good job. This is what I wanted you to realize. Look at all this beauty around you that I created for you. Look at the trees, look at the animals. And then that day I saw a little snake, and I saw some birds. And it was just like, wow, you've created all of this for us. It made me tearful and so happy. So the gratitude was like so high. And, with gratitude, it brings you so much joy and fulfillment of just, you feel so filled up when you're grateful. So that was just next level experience. So I'd say if you want to count that as a spiritual experience, yeah, I would say so. Did you pass any mucoid plaque? So, no, I didn't pass any of the mucoid plaque. I wasn't following the exact protocol to do that. I was drinking a lot of melon juice and watermelon, which you're supposed to use the astringent juices to help break it up and get it out, and then drink the bentonite clay and husk combo. And I didn't do that, so I didn't follow along with the mucoid plaque regimen. And, that's probably why nothing came out. Some people say it exists, some people say it doesn't. I'm not sure. I've never passed it. So, based on my own knowledge, I've seen people that have passed it. I've seen tons of pictures of it. So, I believe something exists regarding that. So, but, anyways, I haven't passed any of that. And then someone asked, did you use any supplements or do any additional protocols to help cleanse your system while on the juice fast? Yes, I did. I was using this here, which is a parasite cleanse, and I got this. I'll put her link below if I can find it, but it's by Marcus and Larissa. They did a video with Sky, and Sky's a long-term raw vegan and big in this space. And so I bought that, and I'm now on my second round. So with this, you do a 10-day round, you wait 20 days, and then you do another 10-day round. So this stuff clears you out. That's all I'm going to say. It clears you out. Did I see any parasites? No. So some people say those exist and some people say they don't. I think parasites do exist. So I wanted to try it, see for myself if I experienced getting rid of any of them. If anything, it's all natural ingredients. It's not going to hurt me. And then next I did Lou Corona's Pyridime. I did these enzymes, and I took quite a few of these at once. These I took between 6 and 10 a day. These are Lou Corona's Pyridime, Lifezymes. They're digestive enzymes. I take these anyways with my raw food lifestyle that I'm on, but I don't take as many as I was taking on the juice cleanse. I was taking between 6 and 10, like I said, at a time, and it's supposed to break up everything that's in there. So I was trying to break it up and get it out. But yeah, so I took those, and then I started taking this, which is this soursop bitters. I'll put a link to this on Amazon if you want to try it. It is nasty. It is nasty. I'm going to warn you, it's nasty. But it also is supposed to kill parasites and clean you out, which it does a great job of that. So, next question. Did you feel extra connected to yourself during this time? 100%, 1,000%. I felt so connected with who I truly am. I like to use the example of like an onion. I felt like an onion, like inside of the onion, and then on the outside you have this big peel, and you peel it. There's lots and lots of layers, right? So I think that we're all just this little onion and we have all these layers of all this junk on the outside. And so the more you eat raw, the more you cleanse yourself, the more you're peeling these layers one by one by one. And eventually you're going to get to the real you inside of all those layers. And I truly experienced that while on this. There's nothing in the way of you when you're not eating. And juicing, you're still getting all those nutrients, you're getting all those minerals inside of you. You don't feel deprived because of all the nutrition you're getting. It's concentrated nutrition. Our cells are thriving on it. So our body has a chance to heal. And we also have a chance to not expel so much energy on digestion. We have peace within ourselves and connection, and we're more connected to God. We're more clear-headed. I was so clear-headed. I had so much energy. There were some days, now I'm not going to lie, there were some days where my energy was just dipped, but those were some days that I didn't have any green juice. So I know that my body is still in the process of healing because I super need the greens. Like, I really need the greens to get through. I did a video about my 7-day fruit fast, which I did 7 days just fruit, and I did a low fat version with no avocado. And I'll post that video up here for you guys if you haven't seen it. But that fruit fast was hard. It was hard because I still need all those minerals and nutrients from all those greens. I'm starting to understand what my body needs. And that's another part of the layers coming off. You become so much more connected with but what your body is asking you for. Our body gives us symptoms, signals, constant messages, but nowadays we're so disconnected from ourselves that we're not able to focus on what our bodies truly need us to do. And so when you're on a juice fast, you'll notice 100% that you're way more in tune with yourself and connected and much more at peace with yourself. So, last question. Overall, how would you describe your experience, and would you recommend others to do one? Overall, I would describe this as a life-changing experience because it truly was. I was able to detox old trauma and emotion from my body. I know that I healed something inside. I know that I gave my body a rest. I know I gave my digestive system a rest, which also promoted healing within my gut and my bowels and all of that. I felt way more connected to God. I got the clarity that I needed. And how proud am I now that I can say that I did a 30-day juice fast? I mean, that is a huge accomplishment. In my eyes, it wasn't easy, but it also wasn't that hard because I was really prepared for it. So that's really the key, is just preparing yourself mentally and physically, financially, whatever you have to do to get there. This time, I will tell you that going from raw foods to juicing made the difference. It made the absolute difference. So last year, I was trying to be a vegan. And so I was eating vegan, but it was vegan junk food. So I was eating tons of junk food and then went into a juice fast. And that's why I struggled so hardcore last time. I also didn't drink enough juice. So you have to drink enough juice. You have to drink a gallon a day at least, minimum, whether you want to drink it or not. Period. Otherwise, you're going to feel it because you need the calories to keep going and you need the nutrients to keep going. So you have to drink enough juice. That's probably the number one reason why people fail on one, is because they're not drinking enough juice. And I would definitely recommend you doing it, especially if you have health issues, because you are going to experience some sort of healing. Another thing I forgot to mention is that I detoxed my skin. That was my physical detox. I was getting acne on my face, on my legs, and on my back. And I never get acne on my legs or my back. Every once in a while, I'll get one on my face. But I had a ton of them. All through here. All through there. On my top of my leg, where I used to get rashes all the time. So that was kind of weird. When I'd be allergic to something I would eat or something like that, I would get like a rash. But these were actual zits on my legs. And then my back, which was very weird. I never get back acne. So those were actually my physical detox, which I totally forgot about. But that only lasted for about a week and then they went away. So it was like detoxing out of my skin and then went away. But yeah, now my face is clearer again. And so yeah, it detoxed something out of my skin. So overall, you're going to detox in some which way form. It may be physical, it may be mental. You're going to shed a layer off that onion in some which way. And if you're just starting, I would suggest doing a shorter juice fast and then just see where it goes. Because it might lead to longer if you feel like you can keep going. So I would say minimum 7 days. And then you might feel like, oh, hey, I got this. I can go 10 days. And then after 10 days, you're like, I can go 15 days. And then after this, you can go 20 days. And then pretty soon you're in the 20 some days and you're like, I might as well go 30 days. And then maybe I can go 40 days. But me, I was like, I wanted to do maybe 40 days. And then I was like, I really want some food. So I'm ready. I got the clarity I needed. I'm ready. I'm okay. So 30 days is a long time. It's a month without food. And I feel very proud that I was able to accomplish that. So if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I love reading your guys' comments. And I will see you on the next video. God bless you guys.